I'm back from the beautiful Barcelona. And oh my goodness, did I eat. Hi, how are ya? Am I tan? Have I got a tan? I don't. It's just burn. Okay, fair enough. So I've just come back from 4 days in Barcelona and I just had the most wonderful time. Me and James went for our 5-year anniversary trip. So it was a holiday, so I didn't do a full vlog situation. I just took lots of different photos and videos of the things that I ate and sort of what we did. And I was just blown away. So I obviously want to pass all of this information on to you if you're planning on going to Barcelona, or maybe you will be planning on going to Barcelona after you've watched this video. So basically I'm just going to run through what we did, what we ate, my recommendations, and yeah, be prepared to get extremely food envious. Okay, so don't be watching this hungry. So, in the early hours of Sunday morning, we left here at about 5:30 a.m. to catch a flight from Gatwick, which was probably the most ridiculous airport to go to from my house. It took 2 hours, and I hate waking up early. If you watched my last video, I talked about being quite sick, and so Sunday was literally the first day that I actually felt like eating, which was really lucky. So when we got there, headed straight to Boots and got my first ever meal deal. Yeah, I don't know, I'd been in London 4 years, never even gotten a meal deal. But the reason I got it was because they had a gluten-free sandwich that was vegetarian and also did not contain egg. Not that I have anything against egg, but it's just every single gluten-free sandwich here has egg in it. So it was really exciting to find one with cheese and tomato. Wow, so exciting. In hindsight, I should have saved that stomach room for when I got to Barcelona, but whatever. Anyway, yeah, so I got my meal deal, ate my meal deal, tasted like cardboard. Got on the plane. It was actually the first time I've been on a plane in 2.5 years, and I do have a little bit of a fear of flying, and I usually get quite nervous, but I did really well, and I'm really proud of myself. To be fair, it's only a 2-hour flight from London to Barcelona, and it wasn't very bumpy. We had really beautiful weather, but I was also not as scared as usual, so that's great. So we flew into Barcelona airport, and the first thing that struck me was you can see the hills from the airport. It looked a lot like Christchurch, where I'm from. I was like, oh my goodness, they look like the Port Hills. Barcelona has really amazing public transport, so we just took the underground straight to our apartment. We got a little Airbnb in sort of the centre. Felt like an area where a lot of people stayed, but it wasn't too close to any major tourist attractions. So it was kind of nice and residential, but still really close to a lot of good food. So this is our Airbnb. I'll just show you a little bit of a walkthrough. This is the beautiful view and balcony, lounge, dining room. Here's the spare bedroom, bathroom, the weird throne that goes to the toilet, loved it, and the main bedroom where we slept. But it was about 3 p.m. by this time and we were starving, so we thought, why not kick off our trip with some traditional Spanish food? McDonald's. So McDonald's in Spain actually has a lot of gluten-free options, and I believe it's also sort of accredited by their Coeliac Society there as well, so they've got processes in place to make sure it's gluten-free. I went for what I thought I would never have again, and that was a Big Mac, which was also the last meal I ate before going gluten-free, so it was pretty emotional. Here are my thoughts.
So shit, but so good.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Oh, it is me. You also might be thinking at this point, Morgan, aren't you vegetarian? And in which case I would be like, yes. Most of the time, yes I am. But when I do travel, I tend to eat a little bit of meat, just because I don't know if it's going to be easy to get vegetarian and gluten-free food. Obviously, I didn't have to go get a McDonald's. This was something that I wanted to do and a bit of a treat for myself. So feel free to judge. I don't mind. So anyway, the bread on the McDonald's burgers was pretty good. It held together. It was probably 20% drier than maybe a standard McDonald's bun, but by no means bad. It had that nice sort of McDonald's sweet bread taste. From there, we decided to do a little bit of a sightsee, so we just went for a little bit of a walk, saw loads of pigeons in a square. After our sightseeing, we also headed to the supermarket. There's just something about being in a supermarket in a foreign place. I just love it. I absolutely am living for it. Although there wasn't actually a lot of gluten-free food, I can only find some like crisps that were, but that's okay. I got some strawberries and some yogurt for breakfast. After that, we went back to the apartment, sort of like had a shower, got dressed, and we went out to the first restaurant of the trip, Roots and Rolls, which was a vegan sushi place, and oh my goodness, what a fantastic time I had. The whole place is vegan and their menu was extremely well marked for gluten-free food. All of their beautiful sushi platters were gluten-free, and a lot of their sides were as well, and as were the desserts. So we went for a few things. The first thing we got was a carrot sushi maki roll plate. It had like peanut sauce on it. Oh my goodness, it was fantastic. We also ended up getting some karaage made out of hueros, which is like a Spanish meat alternative. Probably the closest meat alternative I've ever had to chicken. Like, it was remarkable how chicken-like it was. We also got some popcorn cauliflower and the okonomiyaki, which was more like a pancake rather than okonomiyaki, but it was like really good. The sauce that they put on was absolutely delicious. In terms of like gluten-free celiac safety, I was incredibly tired at this point, so I did just say like I have a gluten allergy, and they were sort of very good at reassuring me that like, okay, I'll let the chefs know, we'll make sure we like wipe everything down, make sure like it's proper safe for you. So I felt super reassured in that, although in hindsight I probably could have asked more questions, but I was so tired. But the food was absolutely phenomenal, and I'm so glad that we went there. After that, couple of sangrias, couple of Aperol spritzes, we headed home and had a huge sleep, because the next day was our sightseeing day, and it also happened to be the day where I ate just like far too much food. So where our Airbnb was only 7 minutes away from Hansana Bakery, which was the most recommended place to me before I went on the trip, and I can 100% see why. So Hansana is a completely 100% gluten-free bakery, and they've got everything. They've got donuts, they've got pastries, they've got breads, they've got patisserie, cookies, crackers, everything you could possibly want they've got. On the way back from Hansana Bakery, I stumbled across this little organic store that had like sin gluten outside, so I was like, oh, gotta head in there, absolutely. And it was basically like one of those stores that doesn't have plastic. What are they called? There's a name for them, I've forgotten. Anyway, so much gluten-free food there. I found some muesli to have with my breakfast, and I found these beautiful chocolate tarts. They also had this whole fridge that was completely gluten. It was like frozen fried food. Oh, if we'd had eaten at home any of the nights, I would have 100% gone there. But yeah, there was pizza, chicken wings, all sorts, croquettes. It was delicious. But yeah, just picked up some muesli and some tarts, and then I headed back to the apartment to have some breakfast. Look at the spread. Look at it. Gorgeous. Oh, I'm sad now. I'm sad now I'm not there eating it. Anyway, after that beautiful breakfast, we decided to head out, do some sightseeing, just classic, touristy stuff. We went to the Sagrada Familia, which is like that amazingly insane looking church. We didn't go inside, it was like €26, and we're just like, would rather go out for dinner again. We just happened to walk past another gluten-free cafe called Gula Sana, but I was still so full from breakfast, I didn't want to sit down and eat. But it was nice to know that that was there. They had all sorts of cake and all sorts of food, all 100% gluten-free. It's just amazing you can stumble across these places in Barcelona. Like, it's insane. We walked to the Gothic quarter from Sagrada Familia, which took about 30 minutes, and by that time I was like, could probably eat. We'd popped into a few shops. It was like a couple of hours after breakfast, and we found this little place called Enville, which is like half French, half Catalan cuisine, and I had no idea what I was ordering. We did get a huge jug of sangria, which was amazing, but James ordered this beautiful looking pasta. I tried it, it was amazing. I ordered something else. I ordered what ended up being a blob of cheese with nothing to hold on to. No bread, no pasta. It was a blob of cheese with pesto, sun-dried tomatoes, and a regular rocket lettuce. It tasted amazing, absolutely, but it was quite like, wow, this is a blob of cheese. Enville is also 100% gluten-free, which is amazing. In fact, it was so gluten-free that when we sat down to eat, the guy came up to us and was like, this is like fully gluten-free, right? And I was like, yeah, that's why we're here. Which is like bit of a strange reaction considering the food was absolutely beautiful anyway. So we went there for lunch, and they do sort of a set menu. We didn't realize it was a set menu. We just ordered, and then after we ate our lunches, they came out and they're like, so what do you want next? What do you want for dessert? And we're like, oh no, we're okay. And they're like, well, you sure? It comes with the meal. And I was like, okay. So I ended up ordering a coffee flan thing. What are they called? Yeah, a coffee flan and also a cappuccino. I don't know why, but I really got into Spanish coffee while I was away. I don't know why. So that was delicious. I was just far too full at this point though. We'd had like a jug of sangria, so I couldn't quite finish my flan. I wanted to, but I couldn't quite fit it all in. And after that, we wandered down to a famous market called Mercado de la Boca. I'll pop the name up here. And it's this huge, like, fresh meat and fruits and vegetable market and lollies and sweets, everything. So big. And it was a Monday, and a lot of things are closed on a Monday, but this was still absolutely thriving. And I was really upset because I wasn't hungry and I just wanted to try every single thing that they had there. They had these beautiful like fresh fruit cups and chocolate covered strawberries and all of these like sweets and traditional foods, and I was like I literally cannot move because I'm too full. But when we go back, I'm definitely going to make sure that I stop there for food next time. Then we headed down to Barceloneta Beach. And I can't show you a lot here because I didn't realize people in Spain bathe topless. So there was some boobs that I cannot show. So here is like a nice video of the horizon. So James went for a wee swim and I just sat and relaxed. And after that, we headed up back into the Gothic Quarter and to a place called Choc, the Chocolate Kitchen. But we went to the wrong one because there are two Chocs in Barcelona, only about a 5-minute walk from each other, but one of them, there's nothing in there that's gluten-free, and the other one is 100% gluten-free. So once we found the correct Choc, we went in and we bought some little cakes. I got this little donut. James got, I don't think I got a video of it, but like a beautiful chocolate muffin, which I tried and was like absolutely fantastic. The donut was good as well, but it was a little bit dense for my liking, but it's still a cute place to drop into. And if you're doing sort of sightseeing in the area, it's very close to all of the happenings. For dinner that night, we actually went out with a friend in Spain, so I didn't actually take a video, but I do have a photo. We went to a place called Messi Sin Gluten, which is like gluten-free pasta and pizza, and yeah, it was really good. I had like a goat's cheese, rocket, tomato pizza. It was delicious. Base was amazing. Very good. They also had like the hugest selection of gluten-free beers. I was like, surely all these beers can't be gluten-free, but the whole place was 100% gluten-free and they all ended up being gluten-free. I don't drink beer, but if, you know, someone watching might, and they have it there. But yeah, that place is really good and really casual, so enjoyed it. Oh, another thing that I mentioned, it is actually usually a good practice to sort of book the places you're going because they all can get quite busy. But also all of the places I went to, you could just book easily online. So if you don't speak any Catalan or Spanish, no issue. And that was the end of our lovely second day of doing all the tourist things. The next day we wanted to have like a beach day, but more of a quiet beach day because the beach in Barcelona is like extremely busy. So we took a train about 45 minutes to an hour north of Barcelona to a little town called Sant Pol de Mar, which is the cutest wee town. Absolutely nothing was open apart from a supermarket where I found a few little like random snacks, as you can see here. This was like a chocolate banana foamy thing with, I don't understand. I wish I got it now so I could have tried it, but I have no idea what's going on with these ones. We picked up a few snacks for the beach, and I'd also gone to Hansana once again that morning, so I had a bunch of snacks from there as well. And we walked a further 20 minutes north of Sant Pol de Mar to another little beautiful little beach. We got there and we were like, why are there so many cars here? So many like big trucks. And we realized they were shooting something on the beach, well, sort of at the end of the beach that we were going to be at. And we were looking around trying to figure it out. I don't have too many videos of it because someone that was working with them actually came up to us and was like, don't take any videos, this is confidential. So actually I tried to take videos. But basically we derived from the whole situation was that it was actually a K-pop music video because there was a group of beautiful Korean girls that were all dressed in like the same costume, and they were playing music and singing and dancing to it, and then they went out and did some underwater scenes. So random, but you know, super fun. So we watched them for a bit. Here is our layout of all of the beautiful snacks we had. So I got some more bread from Hansana, as well as the donut that I had the other day, and the pretzel, because they were just too good. We also got these beautiful crostinis so we could dip into some hummus. Got some grapes, some chippies, some tomato salsa, basically just everything you could want in a picnic. It was fantastic. The day started off pretty cloudy, pretty hazy, but towards the end it really like brightened up. I got super sunburnt. My back has proper bathing suit tan lines, and the water actually wasn't too bad. James went for heaps of swims. I'm a bit like ooh about getting in the water at a beach because I get a bit freaked out because I'm an absolute wuss. But I promised that I would go in and like put my head under. So I went down to the beach and I was about to do it, and then I saw all of these little jellyfish, like hundreds of them. Well, they're not that little. They're those ones that are clear, completely harmless, but they sort of freaked me out. So I spent about 5 minutes just trying to like find a place where there wasn't any just to duck under. But I'm glad I did because it was super refreshing. Then we just relaxed, read our books, ate our snacks, and we headed back to Barcelona around about 7. And we booked in for our final restaurant out of China. And this was also highly, highly, highly suggested to me from people on Instagram. So thank you to you guys that said this, because this might have been my favorite. Everything we ate was amazing, but this might have been my favorite. So Out of China is a Chinese restaurant, you might have guessed. And a lot of their dishes can be gluten-free. So we started off with some vegetable dumplings, and wow, they were amazing. They even brought out a little bottle of gluten-free soy sauce for me as well, so I could dunk that in my food. We got some rice noodles with shiitake mushrooms. We got some fried rice, and we got some kung pao chicken. Oh my goodness, it was flippin' amazing. Everything was just beautiful, delicious. The staff was so helpful. They speak about 1 million languages. They were so reassuring about being gluten-free, and I think that their celiac accreditation. I'm not even going to try. And also, just 5 minutes walk from where we were staying, which was insane. Anyway, we finished that day with, once again, extremely full bellies, and we went home and fell asleep. The next morning was our last day in Barcelona, so our flight was in the afternoon. So we packed up all our stuff and did some final sightseeing, and we went to the last little restaurant and cafe that had gluten-free option, and that was called Conesa Entrepan. And I might be pronouncing that incredibly wrong, but it was a grilled sandwich place that has all of these sandwiches and can do most of them gluten-free. And you might be worried, like, what about the grill? What about the shared spaces? They actually have a separate area to do the gluten-free sandwiches, and so that was absolutely amazing. You can actually see them make it. So we ordered that and some patatas bravas. I went to the loo. I got locked in the loo, so that was fun. The chef had to come and let me out, and then we ate our sandwiches. And our patatas bravas. It was absolutely delicious. I got one with like aubergine and grilled peppers and goat's cheese. It was delicious, and it was very close to the cathedral if you wanted to go there. Not Sagrada Familia, the Barcelona Cathedral, which is in the Gothic Quarter. And I think maybe they have several branches of this, but only that one does gluten-free options. After the sandwiches, we walked back to Choc again because I saw that they had like a chocolate frappe, so I got the chocolate frappe, and then we headed to the airport where I got my final food of the trip, a gluten-free McDonald's cheeseburger. Hey, I thought I'm not going to have one for probably another 2 or 3 years. I'm going to make the most of it now. How was it? Yeah, it was good. It was shit. It was good. It was shit. It was McDonald's. What do you expect? And then, yeah, we got back on the plane. I was a little bit more nervous on this plane ride. Don't know why. I just get a little bit nervous sometimes. But we had a really beautiful, smooth flight back to London Stansted. And before you know it, back home in London, it's raining, absolutely cloudy, freezing cold. And I'm here. But I just cannot get over how fantastic the whole trip was. We had such a lovely time. Obviously, I just showed you most of the food highlights, but the rest of the time, the whole experience that we had in Barcelona was just amazing. And I highly, highly recommend going there, especially if you're gluten-free. I would almost say it's probably the best place in Europe I've been to for gluten-free, maybe other than Rome. But I found that you had more options of different cuisines in Barcelona than you do maybe in Rome. I might just be remembering that not as correctly because I went to Rome before I did sort of Instagram stuff, so it wasn't at the forefront of my mind, but I do remember it being a lot of pizza and a lot of pasta options, whereas in Spain we had like you sushi, you had Chinese, you had Italian. There was just such a variety and so many 100% gluten-free places. But definitely one to put on your gluten-free bucket list, and it's going to be a place that I go back to, definitely. There were so many other gluten-free places that I did not even get a chance to go to as well. But there are a lot of amazing guides you can look at. I'll link some below if you want like a full list of all of the places you could probably eat. But everywhere I went, highly recommend. So lastly, what did I buy? I usually always buy a bunch of gluten-free food from another country, but unfortunately I just did not have the baggage space this time or the bandwidth to carry it in like 26-degree weather, which I know isn't that hot, but it's hot for me, okay? So let me show you some of the things I bought. Firstly, here's the tarts that I was mentioning from that organic place by Hansana. Beautiful chocolate. They're dairy-free as well. Gluten-free, dairy-free tarts. I think it was only like €4 for a pack of 6, which is pretty good considering they're all gluten-free. This is what they look like, and they're absolutely delicious. It tastes kind of like Nutella. Very crumbly, but very delicious. Not overly sweet. I found these lollies, these sweets. Basically just bought them because they had sin gluten on the back. On the front, you'll see a lot of this. You'll see a lot of this little sign, this little sin gluten sign on the food. It's very well labelled in a lot of supermarkets. These are just squishy lollies. I love things that are squishy. I don't know why. So the last thing I bought was some Cheetos. I've never had Cheetos before. I know these are not the actual Cheetos, but here they are. Yeah, these are good. They kind of taste like a better flavoured pom beer. Okay. In terms of supermarkets, the best ones that I found other than sort of independent organic places was Carrefour. Now, I don't know how to say that in Spanish, so I'll pop the name up here. That was probably the place where I found most gluten-free options. So if you wanted to do a big shop and do some self-catering while you're in Barcelona, I would definitely try head to one of these supermarkets because they're a little bit bigger, there's a lot more range, and the bigger the ones you go to, the more gluten-free options they had. We went to this huge one, and I just was looking at all the gluten-free options going, oh my god, I'm definitely going to come back here. Totally forgot where it was, but they had like a million types of biscuits and cookies, and I didn't get any of them. So yeah, that's a huge regret. Do you know what I did like? I don't think I got any videos of this, but the oranges in Spain are amazing, and they do those fresh orange juices in the supermarkets. I think they do that here, but the ones there were just phenomenal. So the word in Spanish for gluten-free, I believe, is sin gluten, but you'll also see it written as sense gluten, and I don't know if that is a Catalan thing. Maybe someone can tell me in the comments if that is how you just say it in Catalan, but you'll also see it written as that. And I found that things are very well labelled. That little sign is everywhere. Even some supermarkets have like sin gluten or sense gluten on the shelf labels by the product names and stuff like that. All of the people that served us, while we tried to speak very, very shit Catalan, all spoke English anyway. So that was also very lucky. Yeah, but basically to summarize, it was fantastic. Everything I ate was delicious. I had nothing that was not delicious, and I had no negative gluten-free experiences. So 10 out of 10 Barcelona. 10 out of 10. That is my video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've ever been, please let me know if you've been to any of the places I mentioned or any places that you think I really missed out on. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.